I am calling the meeting to order.
Through the chair, you're live on HCAM TV.
All right. All right, everyone. I am calling this meeting to order. As a preliminary matter, this is Brendan Tedstone, Select Board Chair. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Irfan Nasrullah.
Here.
Brian Herr.
Here.
Mary Jo Lafreniere.
Here.
Amy Ritterbush. Staff, when I call your name, please respond to the affirmative. Norman Kamalu. Elaine Lazarus.
Here.
Additional speakers this evening may include Sean McAuliffe, Tim O'Leary, Maria Casey, and Heather Beckman. If there's anyone here that would like to speak during public forum portion of the agenda, you must notify the meeting host in advance. You may do so by using the raise hand feature of Zoom. I request a motion to enter into executive session to consider approving executive session minutes of February 9th, 2021. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, to discuss strategy concerning ongoing litigation before the Department of Industrial Accidents, because discussing the same in open session would have detrimental effect on town's litigation strategy. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 21A, purpose 3, to consider strategy with respect to the collective bargaining related to DPW, police, fire, and library unions, because an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the board. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 21A, purpose 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate, the lease of East Main Street property to the 26.2 Foundation and relative to the Upper Charles Trail, because an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on negotiating position of the board, to allow Mr. Kamala and Ms. Lazarus to participate in the discussion and to reconvene an open session at the conclusion of the executive session.
So moved.
Anyone want to second that?
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Nasrullah, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Herr?
Herr, yes.
Ms. Lafreniere?
Renier, yes.
Ms. Ritterbush?
Ritterbush, yes.
Tedstone, yes. So we're going to leave Zoom and go to Google Meet. So if you are not signing off of your device, make sure that you're on mute and the camera is off, please. Thank you. All right, Bob, I think we're all set to come back when you're ready. See what we have here, participants. Me and Amy right now. It looks like Mr. Nasrullah lost his internet. That was a text that I just got from him. So hopefully we can get him back. There is 3. Amy, Mary Jo, and I. All right. This is Brendan Tedstone, Select Board Chair. Permit me to confirm that all members are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond to the affirmative. Irfan Nasrullah is not here. Brian Herr is not here yet. Mary Jo Lafreniere is not here yet. Amy Ritterbush?
Frenier here.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. This open meeting of the Hopkins Select Board is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of 12 March 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we're complying with the executive order that suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. All members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The executive order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allow public bodies to meet entirely remotely, as long as the public body makes provisions through adequate alternative means to ensure, I'm trying to kill my hiccups, through adequate alternative means to ensure interested members of the public are provided reasonable access to deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. For this meeting, the Select Board is convening by video conference via Zoom webinar as posted on the town's web meeting calendar and the board's agenda identifying how the public may join. Additionally, the meeting may also be broadcast by HCAM through one or many of its channels or platforms. Please note that the meeting is being recorded and that some of the attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that others may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. We're now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each speaker of the agenda on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will invite board members to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way to helps generate accurate meeting minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in dialogue with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. Not every agenda item will feature public comment. For the public forum portions of the agenda, the chair will work with the meeting host to call each pre-registered speaker to make their comment. Each speaker must begin by identifying their name and address. Each speaker will have up to 2 minutes for their comments. Please use the raise hand feature of Zoom now to indicate that you'd like to speak or make a comment. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Pledge of Allegiance. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all. Thank you. I am not the normal spry person that I am today. I took a fall on my way into work, so it takes me a minute, and you hear yelling and screaming as I try to stand up. That's for me falling. So public forum, if there's any member of the public who wishes to speak, please use the raise hand feature of Zoom, and when called on, identify yourself by name and address first. Please note that if you're here to speak to one of the general bylaw amendments, including the Discharge of Firearms bylaw, please hold your comments till the 6:45 public forum, and I will call on you at that time. So what that means to the participants here, and I'm going to go down here to the full list, is so Greg Leal, I see that you have your hand up for public comment. We're not going to, I'm assuming that you're here for, you can, Ben, you can liven Mr. Leal's microphone up. I'm assuming that you're here based on the fact of that I know you. So I'm assuming that you're here to speak on the firearms, discharge of firearms bylaw. And if that's the case, we will circle back to you when we get to it at about 6:45. Does that sound good?
Very good. Thank you.
That's awesome. So we're going to start with a COVID update. Sean McAuliffe, Director of the Public Health Director, you will provide a brief update to the board. Mr. McAuliffe. Let's see. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay.
Go. Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Pretty good. I'll be brief. I've got
All
this
right.
down. All right.
Appreciate it.
So thank you for having me. Consistent with national and trends in the Commonwealth, we've seen a significant decrease in the number of cases in Hopkinton. Our positivity rate has dropped from a high just above 4 during the holidays down to 2.01 as of last week. I expect it to be below 2 when the state reports out on Thursday. Casey and I will be monitoring the caseload and the rates over the next week to assess whether the February break had any impact on our caseload and positivity. One positive thing to note is that although we did see a significant amount of travel, it was about a third of the travel that we saw over the November to New Year's break and holidays. We just continue to request that residents and employees in Hopkinton focus on, just the standard mitigation behaviors, distancing, face coverings, most of all, staying home when you're sick. We've had a lot of success in town, and as we move towards opening up the schools full time, our attention to these basic details will really guide our success into going back to school full time. Moving forward, so we vaccinated our first responders and frontline residents. That we ran a great clinic in Westboro with our partners there. We pulled off a successful, actually a 5-day clinic at our senior center. We vaccinated just over 50% of our 75 and older residents. We, when all was said and done, we vaccinated 1,178 residents from the region during that clinic. The DPH was there to observe the clinic, and they gave us high marks. We just got their after action report, and they said for 2 people who have just put together an MRC and ran their first major clinic, they were extremely pleased. So that's a feather in our cap. The department's working with the Mass Department of Public Health and the Executive Office of Elder Affairs to finalize the schedule to vaccinate the senior housing community. That's a separate, specific community that they're receiving allocations that are kind of outside of my control. I'm simply the provider, giving them, providing the vaccine clinic and providing a means for them to get shots in arm. We expect that group to have their first set of vaccines before the end of March. I actually believe it'll be within the next couple of weeks, but that'll be a closed clinic specific to that housing group. We wanted to thank and acknowledge the efforts of the fire department, police department, and most of all the senior center. The senior center went through, I would say, a bit of hell with the number of calls that came into the clinic, but they managed everything gracefully. And if you were to ask anybody that went through the clinic, they were not aware of the amount of call volume that they were suffering through. So at the end of the day, we have a lot to be proud of. We pulled off a really fantastic clinic. Lastly, we're working with the first responders group that we had formed and several other communities at providing a regional solution, possibly standing up a mass vaccination clinic that would serve about 8 communities. We're still in the planning department, we're still planning it, working with the DPH to see whether or not they're going to permit it. And lastly, and consistent with the DESI's announcement today, we're working with the school department on their reopening plans and strategies. And that is all that I have. Any questions?
Sean, that is by far the best update I have ever gotten from you. That's a great update. Thank you for your hard work, and you did a great job. Very short, sweet, succinct, to the point. You did a great job there. Thank you very much. Board, any questions? None. Great. Thanks again, Sean. Great job. See you next week.
Yep, you got a lot of work ahead of you tonight. All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Consent agenda. The board will consider approving the consent agenda, consisting of the approval of the minutes of the select board meetings of February 2, February 9, accepting the resignation of Marilyn Palmer from the Council of Aging, reappointing Ed Harrow as the Conservation Commission representative on the Open Space Preservation Commission to a term expiring 6/30/25, appointing Rebecca LaPierre as traffic constable, term expiring 6/30/23, and accepting a $100 gift to the ambulance fund in memory of Francis Pine from Mary Louise Moore. Board members, would you like to break any one of these out? I am going to break out number 2 and number 5. 3, 4, 5. Yep, 2 and 5. So I will request a motion to approve consent agenda items 1, 3, and 4.
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Nasrullah?
Nasrullah, yes.
Mr. Herr?
Herr, yes.
Ms. Lafreniere?
Lafreniere, yes.
Ritterbusch?
Ritterbusch, yes.
Ed Stone, yes. So number 2 on the consent agenda, the resignation of Marilyn Palmer. All the comments that I made on Mr. Palmer at the last meeting for all his tireless work and devotion and dedication to the town go, if not equally, if not more, to Mrs. Palmer. Mrs. Palmer is someone I've known for a long time. I know that she worked for the police department for hundreds of years. She's a legend and an icon in this town. And like I said last meeting, it was sad to see the sold sign on their house. We will miss Marilyn on the Council on Aging. I will miss her as a neighbor. So thank you very much, Marilyn Palmer and John Palmer, and we wish you very, very well in the future. And I don't have to tell Mr. Kamalu to get a letter out to her. Accepting a $100 gift. So number 5, the ambulance fund. We haven't got many donations lately up to the ambulance fund, but anytime that I see a donation to the ambulance fund, it always kind of raises my eyebrows in appreciation. But then when I see the subject that it's to Fran Pine, who is absolutely one of the all-time greats that we've had to work on the town for lifelong time. Just an awesome guy, and and it shows in the amount of time that he has passed that people are still trickling donations into the ambulance fund. So thank you, Mary Louise Moore, for this generous gift to the ambulance fund. It will go to a great cause. And anybody who knows or knew Franny Pine, as always, anytime you mention the name, you can't help but smile. So thank you very much. That said, I will accept a motion to approve consent agenda item number 2 and number 5.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? None. Mr. Nasrullah, how do you vote? Mr. Herr?
Yes.
Ms. Lafreniere?
Frenier, yes.
Ms. Ritterbusch?
Ritterbusch, yes.
Headstone, yes. Did
And
we get
Nasrullah, yes.
Nasrullah, yes. Thank you. Great. So the time is 6:41. Mr. Khumalo, are we tied to the 6:45 start time on this, or can we start a few minutes early?
Not a public hearing, is it?
Yeah, it's a public forum, but just in fairness, with your permission, I can jump onto the town manager's report.
Okay, can you do it in 4 minutes? 3 minutes?
Yes.
Let's have it.
Main Street Corridor Project, as reported, we now have an active website at which people can receive construction updates. They can also subscribe to receiving any other project information related to the construction of Main Street. We are continuing our work with the Chamber Group. I had a very productive meeting on February 19th. And then on February 11th, Historic District did issue its final approval of the fixtures that are included as part of this project. All hands meeting is set for March 3rd, 2021, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We have invited most of the elected boards as well as chairs of the appointed committees in town to listen to a series of 3-minute presentations by our senior leaders. And I can take any questions here from the board.
Board members, anything for Mr. Khumalo?
I was wondering, or if I can, to the chair.
Go ahead, Amy.
I did sign up for the emails on the Main Street corridor, but I noticed downtown there was quite a bit going on this morning, but I hadn't received an email. Do you know when they're going to start sending the emails?
The activities you may have seen may have been in relation to the Eversource gas project.
Okay, and they're not sending emails.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah,
Okay.
the construction activities for the Main Street Corridor project are still confined to the survey work.
Okay.
Mr. Nasrullah, did you have something?
Nope.
Perfect. So, Mr. Khumalo, you don't need any motions or anything like that. You're good, right?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. So it is 6:44. That's close enough. The 2021 annual town meeting, public forum, proposed amendments to general bylaws. Tonight, the board will hear public comment on 5 proposed amendments to the general bylaws that may be on the warrant for the 2021 annual town meeting. We are at a point in the process where language of the articles can be modified, but we can also remove the articles from the warrant. We will take the proposals one at a time. So number 1, discharge of firearms. The proposed amendments to prohibit the discharge of firearms within an expanded distance from the buildings and streets is being considered in response to neighborhood concerns. I will open up to public comment at this time. We have received several written comments on the proposal. If you have submitted a written comment, that it is not necessary to repeat them here, but you may if you wish. I will call on you one person at a time. Each person will have up to 2 minutes for comment. After you give your name and address, please use the raise hand feature of Zoom at this time to offer public comment on this item. So before we do that, I just want to clarify that there's been a whole, so it's misleading to say that several people have sent emails in. There's been well over 100 people that sent emails in on this. So I had a discussion with Mr. Mastriani, who has been labeled as kind of a villain in this proposal, that he's trying to eliminate hunting and he's trying to, there's just been a lot of misrepresentation on Mr. Mastriani. He did not present a piece of paper to us stating that he wanted to make this 1,000-foot buffer zone and 300 feet from a road. He did not do any of that. He simply came on out of a concern for the safety of his family, which I absolutely applaud him for. He has been absolutely put through the ringer this last week or so. And I want to set the record straight to everybody who sent emails, phone calls, texts, anything to me or anybody else in this town, that Mr. Mastriani is not against hunting. He is absolutely not against hunting. He's simply looking out for the safety of his family. And if anybody out there would not come and simply speak at a town's meeting out of concern for the safety of their family, I think every single person would have done the exact same thing had they done that. I have had discussions with Mr. Mastriani. I've had discussions with people from the Division of Fish and Wildlife. I've had many discussions here, and a lot of the emails that came through were from gun clubs. The proposed language was simply a copy and pasted document that our town council had fought before in another town. It was put in there as a placeholder for us to discuss if we did want to change it. That gave us kind of parameters, and then we could adjust it from there. We as selectmen don't have the ability to make that decision tonight or any time to change the buffer zone in the discharge of firearms. This is something that our boss as selectmen, the people that are our boss, which is town meeting, it would go to them. Mr. Mastriani is I feel very, very, very badly for all the garbage that he's been put through, and the misconception and the thought that he was trying to eliminate hunters, buffer zones, things like that. He just was concerned for the safety of his family. So I can open it up to the public.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
in the interest of time, I would put a motion, because this is not a public hearing, correct? This is just a public forum where if we decide we let people talk, we let them talk. If we decide not let them talk, we don't let them talk. But it's not a public hearing, correct, Mr. Kamalo?
Correct, Mr. Head.
Because in a public hearing, we're legally obligated to let people talk. So in fact, given the fact that it's not a public hearing, I would put a motion on the table now I would move that the select board not take action on this warrant article and not have it before town meeting in 2021.
I would second that motion, Mr.
So with the motion on the table in a second, if folks want to talk, I guess they can talk, but maybe if we take a vote, we could just end this right now.
Do we have an opportunity for discussion here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So, okay, in defense of Mr. Mastriani, I actually brought this issue up well over a year ago. So if the public has an ire on someone who's initiating this, you can direct it at me. I'm happy to take the heat. On the topic itself, though, I don't think the select board, or at least I can speak for myself, that I don't have the answers. But I think it makes sense to open this up with all the interested parties to try to come up with a solution that addresses rights for hunters, which I strongly support, and my right to be able to hang out in my backyard without hearing gunshots all hours of the night. I think it makes sense that we need to come together and try to come to a solution and not just try to force something down. I don't even know if the warrant article that we have is even designed to accomplish any of the goals.
So I am in agreement with you, Mr. Kamalo, as far as hashing out an answer and come up with. I'm sorry, I keep saying Kamalo. I don't know why. Nasrullah, Mr. Nasrullah. I am absolutely, I'm good with what you're saying. I don't think that we can we're not taking this and throwing it away. We're taking this and we're going to have a discussion on it and move, like, I don't know, like this will give us enough time to vet it, maybe for the next town meeting, but we clearly don't have the amount of the time required to vet it for this town meeting, I think.
Yeah, to your point, Mr. Chair, and to Mr. Nasrullah as well, the motion I put on the table was set for 2021. So
Okay.
do I think that maybe the town should try and find some solution that helps the neighborhood, but maintains the rights of hunters across the community? Absolutely. We're not gonna be able to get it done between now and May. Obviously, it's a very sensitive topic. And that's why I think we should just not take action right now.
And just one more thought on this topic. I don't think the problem that I'm hearing is hunters. Hunters don't empty a full magazine while trying to hunt a deer. I think after the first shot, the deer runs. I think that there's a different issue. I have no intention of limiting hunting. And in fact, I think that most hunters are very respectful towards the neighbors. I think this is a different issue, and I think we need to look at it from that perspective.
Yep. Great.
Yeah, I have my hand up. I don't know, but I've even had calls at home on this, and I agree. It's not an issue of hunting throughout town or anything like that. It's a very specific issue, and I feel really bad that Mr. Mastriani is taking the heat on this, because there is a lot of misunderstanding out there. And I do think we have to have some kind of a discussion forum with the various groups in town and figure out how to solve this.
Yep, I think so. We do have a motion. It was seconded. Is there any? Oh, go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, I think I agree with everyone that the way it's worded now is not the right solution. And so we do need to take time to find a better solution that will, not hunting in the middle of the night, because it's not hunting. But the other thing is, we advertise this as a public forum. I know it's not a public hearing and we don't have to allow comments, but I would be in favor at least of a small comment period, because all these people came. So I don't know if we could allow 5 minutes or something. I just hate to advertise.
Amy, 99% of the people on here just want us to drop this right now. So like, we could be here for 2 hours listening to the same comment.
I'm not suggesting we sit here for 2 hours, but maybe people will put their hands down after we discuss. But I think we should let people speak for, since we advertised it that way. And people could be here about the other bylaws as well.
I think if we are going to let people speak, then we should just limit the period.
I agree.
All right, let's do. So there's 3 people's hands up. So Wesley Dunnington, Joe Quinn, and Dick Germain. You have 2 minutes each. Let me fire up my.
Mr. Chair, should we vote on Mr. Hurd's motion before we invite the public?
Well, I think once we vote on it, it's a done deal, isn't it? But yeah, sure, we can. So, Mr. Nasrullah, how do you vote?
Nasrullah, yes.
Mr. Hur?
Hur, yes.
Ms. Lafreniere?
Frenier, yes.
Ms. Ritterbusch?
Just to be clear, the motion is to continue it till the following year, not to completely drop it, right?
The
motion was not to take action this year, period.
Not to take action this year. So I will, Ritterbusch, yes.
And Ted Stone, yes. So we have those 3. Let me see if we still have those 3 people. So knowing that we have already voted on this and it's not on the warrant, do those 3 people, Mr. Dunnington, Mr. Quinn, and Mr. Germain, do you still want to comment on this? So I will open it up. It looks like, just give me a second here. So Mr. Quinn, I see your hand is still up.
Can you hear me?
I sure can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, you got 2 minutes and your time is starting right now. Go ahead.
Just so you know, I'm a member of the Hopkins Sportsmen's Association, and both my wife and I are hunters. My question to you folks is, what safety consideration have you given to the overpopulation of deer? And let me give you 3 areas. Overpopulation of deer will increase auto accidents in the town of Hopkinton, primarily at night because deer are nocturnal. So you will have to increase both EMS, fire, and police to respond to these accidents. What consideration have you given to the increase of Lyme and tick disease in the town of Hopkinton? And then what consideration have you given to the predatory animals that come in when there is an overpopulation of deer? And I can specifically state that you will increase the coyote population, you will increase the bobcat population, and you will increase the bear population. And that is very serious because if you have children and animals out in your backyard, they can be attacked by these animals because they are wild animals. So overpopulation of deer is a bad thing. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if you know this, but the state of Massachusetts is already trying to decrease the number of deer they've increased the archery season in zone 10, which Hopkinton is mostly in zone 10 and a little bit in zone 9. There are 14 zones in the state. So they already know that there's an overpopulation of deer inside of 495. So these are just questions. I'm not, obviously we're very conscious about discharge of firearms. That we go through hunter safety courses. So yes, there's very.
You got 10 seconds, Joe.
Go ahead.
You have 5 seconds.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Dick Germain. Go ahead, Mr. Germain. You are live.
Am I unmuted?
You're unmuted.
No.
Okay, fine. All I want to say is that I've lived in this town for just under 50 years now. I am a hunter and a fisherman, though I'm unable to do much of that anymore. I love this town, and I would urge us as you move forward discussing this issue, because I think it is a relevant issue. And I do feel for folks who don't want to hear the gunshots when they're in their backyard and so forth. But would you please involve the Department of Fisheries and Wildlife of the state of Massachusetts in any discussion you have on these things? They will have more insight to give us than we can come up with on our own as a town. That's all I'd like to say.
Thank you, Mr. Germain. So, yeah, they will be privy to any discussions we have there actually on the line tonight. So, so that's it. But I see that Austin Sussman has his hand raised, and out of respect for the amount of effort he put into some of the things that he wrote to us this week, and knowing that he's in a butter, I'm going to go ahead and let him talk, and then that'll do it for our question and answer period. So, Mr. Sussman, when we can hear you, your clock's going to start.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
So, my name's Austin Sussman, resident of Spring Street. I just wanted to, like I said, you mentioned, I've sent a, email to you all of my concerns. I can understand the language being hard and strong, and the issues that the hunters can see with this. And I guess if this sort of verbiage doesn't work, the best route would be maybe to see how to restrict backyard ranges. That's sort of more the issue coming from someone who's actively, disturbed by this. I'm not disturbed by the noise from the guns. I'm not disturbed by the hunters. I'm disturbed by the chance of a stray bullet coming into my house, into my backyard, especially when I can walk right up to it. So yeah, that's all I'd like to say.
Thank you. All right, so that's going to conclude this portion of the discharge of firearms. Doc,
Mr. Chairman, may I make a quick statement?
you got
In
2
the
minutes,
meantime,
buddy.
in the meantime, we've tabled this, but for all of Hopkinton, remember, we are all neighbors. Be respectful towards one another and let's work together. That's it.
You have a minute 52 if you'd like to. Oh, no, you're done. Thank you, Mr. Nasrullah, not Kamala. Dog licensing. The amendment to the dog licensing bylaw will bring the town's fine for unregistered dogs in line with the fine specified in state statute. The town's fine was set several years ago, and the law has since changed. Is there anyone who'd like to offer comment? I will offer 2 minutes again. Same concept as before. Let me take a look here. Full attendees. So I am seeing Bob Draper and Mr. Sussman. I'm going to let Mr. Draper go first, assuming that this is on the dog licensing. So if you can speak to the dog licensing, you have up to 2 minutes, Mr. Draper. You're on, you're live. Bob Draper?
Yes,
Yes.
I am sorry. I did not lower my hand from the prior conversation.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob. That was a good use of your 2 minutes. I appreciate it.
If I could just enter for a second, please, I'd be more than willing to work with any one of the town committees or planning if people are obviously interested in discussing the prior item further and making things a bit more clear and logical. I'd be more than happy to participate with anyone regarding those. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Feel free to get in touch with Mr. Kamalo at the town hall and give him your name. So when we do start rehashing this, you are certainly welcome to be invited to be a panelist.
Okay, I'm sorry. The name, please?
Mr. Norman Kamalo. Are you a town resident, Mr. Draper? All right, never mind. Let's see. So I guess, Mr. Herr, if you or someone like to make a motion?
What's the motion to recommend the article?
Yeah.
I would make a motion to recommend the dog licensing article for town meeting.
Second.
Any further discussion? None. Mr. Nasrullah, how do you vote?
Nasrullah, yes.
Mr. Herr?
Or yes.
Ms. Lafreniere?
Lafreniere, yes.
Ritterbush, yes.
Pitstone, yes. That carries. Number 3, obstructions of streets and sidewalks. These bylaw changes prohibit street and sidewalk obstructions in addition to snow, which the bylaws already cover. It also makes language housekeeping changes. This is another bylaw initiated by residents who are concerned about leaves and other debris deposited into roadways. If there's anyone who would like to offer a comment, I will allow up to 2 minutes for this as well.
I actually had a couple comments too.
All right. Go ahead, Amy, you got 2 minutes.
Yeah, I had a question from some residents about this. Would this also include trees and shrubs that have been overgrown and have obstructing the sidewalk? Would this be included, and if not, should that be added? And also, it's not specifically mentioned, but people who park their cars in a way to obstruct the sidewalk, should that be included, or is it maybe already in the bylaws elsewhere?
Mr. Kamalo?
I'll take the second one first. The second one is addressed through our police enforcement.
So currently, it's already prohibited to park on the sidewalk. Okay.
And then, Elaine, do you mind addressing the first one?
Yeah, the bylaw specifically talks about being put there by, natural or artificial means. So I'm assuming it would not include an overgrown shrub.
So not, okay.
All right.
It would have to be deposited or placed there, not growing there. So.
Right. All right. Does that satisfy that, Amy?
Well, I guess I'd be interested in the conversation. Do we want to have something that prevents people from letting their shrubs block the sidewalks so people can't use them? Or would it need to be a separate bylaw?
I don't know. Mr. Kamalu, Ms. Lazarus? Someone?
I think based on, based on current practice, instances where we have had bushes overgrowing onto the sidewalk, we either ask the DPW to work collaboratively with the homeowner, or we go straight to the homeowner and ask them to take care of the overgrown bushes.
Okay.
Into the sidewalk. That issue has not been brought to our attention as a problem in town. So perhaps my message is, if anybody is observing any bushes that are overgrowing onto the sidewalk, let town hall know, and we'll work with the homeowner to address that.
Okay, thanks.
So Amy, if you want to make a motion on this as well?
Okay, so I would make a motion that we recommend the obstruction of streets and sidewalks general bylaw to town meeting.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Nasrullah?
Nasrullah, yes.
Mr. Herr?
Or yes.
Ms. Lafreniere?
Frenier, yes.
Ms. Ritterbush?
Ritterbush, yes.
Headstone, yes. Street opening permits. This bylaw would codify the current practice of the DPW. Adopting it as a bylaw provides for more transparency and accountability. If there's anyone like to make a comment, you have 2 minutes. I will go to this and attendee list. So Bob Draper has his hand up, but I'm assuming that just hasn't gone down. So, board, any further discussion on this? I will entertain a motion to codify the current practice of the DPW for the street opening permits. That motion in order, Mr. Kamalu?
That so long as it includes the word that the board is recommending the street bylaw that will allow the codification of the current practice of the DPW.
Yes, that's what I was saying before you interrupted me.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Nasrullah, how do you vote?
Nasrullah, yes.
Mr. Herr?
Or yes.
Ms. Lafreniere?
Frenier, yes.
Ms. Ritterbush?
Ritterbush, yes.
Stone, yes. Trench safety officer, the town bylaw implements the adoption of Jackie's Law. The town manager would be designated as the trench safety officer, and the bylaw allows the duties to be delegated to other town officials as needed. Is there anyone who would like to make a comment? You got 2 minutes. Let's see if anyone's up. Mr. Draper is still up, but so I will entertain a motion.
I would make a motion to recommend the trench safety officer bylaw to town meeting.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Nasrullah?
Nasrullah, yes.
Mr. Herr?
Or yes.
Ms. Lafreniere?
Frenier, yes.
Ms. Ritterbush?
Ritterbush, yes.
Headstone, yes. Capital and budget hearings. Tonight, the board will continue with its meeting with town departments to hear about their operating budget and capital requests. We'll be hearing from finance, human resources, public library, land use, planning and permitting, and the town manager. Mr. Kamalu.
With your permission, Mr. Chair, we will ask Mr. O'Leary to step forward and present the finance department budget. He will be followed by Ben Sweeney from the accounting office.
You have my permission.
Good evening. Thanks for your time this evening. The finance function is a bit different from some other town departments in that we deliver direct services to the public while also working with other town departments, boards, commissions, and committees to provide both support services and information to help in financial decision-making. Our team vision reflects those roles. The finance team is working on continuous improvement in our processes to drive quality service outcomes internally for finance and across the town enterprise. For our customers in the community, high-quality service outcomes include an accurate, fair property tax system that generates about 82% of the town's revenue, accurate and efficient billings and collections, conservative management of the town's cash and investments, management of the town's existing debt and new capital borrowing, and timely, accurate information about town near-term and long-term finances to support oversight by citizens as well as by elected officials. For our customers and other town departments, boards, committees, and commissions, our quality service outcomes include support for thousands of annual utility billings and collections, temporary and long-term borrowings to support major capital projects, a timely, accurate payroll system, and financial analysis to support spending and investment decisions. For the functions of the treasurer, collector, assessor, payroll, and CFO, the town manager's budget recommends an FY22 budget of $936,505. That's up from $890,207 last year. These costs represent just under 1% of the general fund operating budget being proposed. So less than 1% of the funding flowing through the system is being consumed by the tax administration, treasury, payroll, financial management, and analysis functions with no capital requests for consideration. From FY21 to 22, proposed salary and expense costs are budgeted for an increase of 1.8%. The one extra line item in our budget, appraisal services, is proposed to be up by a substantial 20%, with a $30,000 requested increase. The entire additional amount requested is related to the town's ongoing effort to collect a fair tax levy from the Eversource LNG plant. Eversource appealed the town's assessments for Hopkinton LNG for 2014, 2015, and 2016. The state's appellate tax board upheld the town's position after a lengthy and very costly review, which was excellent news for the town. Now we're standing by to see if Eversource will appeal those tax years again to the next higher court, the Court of Appeals. But in FY22 budget, we've added $10,000 for anticipated legal expenses that will be needed if Eversource follows up with litigation on 2017 through 2020, 4 years that have been pending while we tried to resolve the earlier years. The other $20,000 in additional funding requested is also tied to Eversource. As you know, the LNG facility is going through a substantial renewal, so it will be necessary for the town to re-baseline the facility for property tax purposes. Because Eversource has a long record of appealing Hopkinton LNG assessments, the town will be taking the unusual step and incurring an extra $20,000 in expense to generate a painstakingly meticulous court-ready appraisal. This approach will avoid additional costs and rework later when it's likely that Eversource will once again appeal the town's LNG appraisal. The town's tax relationship with Eversource is challenging and expensive, and this situation is not unique to Hopkinton. Across the Commonwealth, Eversource is appealing assessments, thereby imposing high staff and legal costs on towns where they operate. Despite this expense, the town believes it's important and completely appropriate to incur the expenses necessary to stand up to Eversource on these cases. So in summary, my budget is a 1.8% increase in baseline services and an additional $30,000 to continue to engage with Eversource. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Leary. Board members, anything for Mr. O'Leary?
Thank you, Tim. It's great news that the appellate tax board upheld. This has been going on, I think, almost since I worked for the town. And I think it should be upheld, and I think we should continue to move forward. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tim. Appreciate all your work. Mr. Hurry, you don't have anything, right? This is kind of your forte, so.
All set.
He's got nothing, I got nothing. All right, moving on, Mr. Kamalu.
Ben Sweeney, Senior Accounting Manager.
He's not on the agenda, Mr. Kamalo, is he?
He's coming. Yeah, he's coming.
Is he on the agenda?
Under finance, yes. He has to explain the accounting services and grants and procurement.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have
Thank
to
you.
yell. Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you for the opportunity to come to speak to you this evening. I'm here to present the FY22 budget request for the Accounting Department and Procurement and Grants Department. The Accounting Department's mission is to establish and operate an effective set of internal controls that are consistently adhered to maintain financial records that are accurate and timely, that support the stakeholders in the decision-making process, and to maintain compliance with federal, state, and local regulations. To achieve this mission, the town accountant and assistant town accountant work closely with our primary regulator, the Massachusetts Department of Revenue, to complete the free cash, tax rate setting, and Schedule A processes. The accounting department also coordinates the annual financial statement audit with our external auditors. Most critically, we work closely with all municipal departments without whom we could not accomplish our mission. In these efforts, we support end users in the operation of the Munis financial management system, process over 65,000 transactions each year, and oversee compliance with actions approved by town meeting. Specific FY22 priorities include expanded functionality of the Munis resource planning system, documentation of standard operating procedures, and the establishment of a financial dashboard to support financial transparency in government and support stakeholders in the decision-making process. The FY22 accounting budget proposal represents a 17% decrease from the FY21 budget approved by town meeting. The reduction is the result of salary differential following retirements in the town accountant and assistant town accountant positions, as well as cost savings in expense categories that reflect new efficiencies and COVID-19 considerations. The Procurement and Grants Office is responsible for identifying and applying for grant opportunities at the state, federal, and local levels, and for facilitating the town's legally compliant purchase of high-quality materials, equipment, and services at the best possible value, as well as operating as the town's spend control officer. Since its inception in 2018, the office has coordinated across town departments to submit or support 27 grant applications, generating over $4 million in grant revenue. By way of illustration, these awards have made Hopkinton a safer place by providing funding to hire 4 new firefighters and funded the purchase of portable radios for the Hopkinton and Ashland fire departments. These awards have improved the energy efficiency of school buildings, furthering the town's promise of being a green and fiscally responsible community. These awards have improved the health and well-being of our citizens by providing funding for anti-vaping programs and a meal delivery program for our seniors during COVID-19. These awards have provided vital funding for the Main Street Corridor project that, when completed, will benefit Hopkinton, its residents, and the entire Metro West region. These accomplishments would not be possible without the tireless efforts of town boards, committees, and staff that provide outstanding services to the community. The Procurement and Grants position allows department heads to maintain their primary focus on achieving their missions while aggressively pursuing grant opportunities that improve outcomes and lower the taxpayer burden. The results over the last 27 months demonstrate that the Procurement and Grants Office produces a tremendous return on investment for the town of Hopkinton. The FY22 Grants and Procurement Department budget request submitted to you is a level funding request from the FY21 budget approved by town meeting. In summary, I believe the budget requests for these 2 interconnected departments would enable us to meet our stated objectives. I thank you for your time and welcome any questions you may have.
Nice presentation, Ben. I appreciate it. Thank you. Board members, anything? Nothing? Great. Ben, you're off the hook. We'll get you next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kamalo.
Next on deck is Maria Casey, HR Director.
Hey, Maria. There, she's just not unmuted or uncameraed. Maria, if you can hear us, we need you to unmute yourself there so you can speak to us.
Can you hear me now?
I sure can. Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear.
Perfect.
Thank you for the opportunity to present to you this evening. HR's role is to care for the town employees, having fun whenever possible, strengthen Team Hopkins, take care of employees and their families' good health, and develop its leaders. I'd like to share what a month in HR looks like. There's 3 full-time staff who on average fulfill 1,547 requests. We currently have 1,153 insurance subscribers that we take care of. And this past year, we processed 593 insurance enrollments. We also regularly advise, coach, and counsel supervisors, managers, and senior leaders. The HR department strategic priorities are strategic planning, which is ongoing for COVID-19, and developing organizational resilience, advise and advance diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, formalizing HR procedures and processes for shared employee experiences. To that end, the town manager recommended the HR department budget, which is 0.91% year-to-year change and well below the 2.5% threshold. Personnel expenses for 3 full-timers are $229,704. Expenses are $124,455. The remainder of the budget is the compensation contingency fund to address contractual obligations and anything unforeseen. With the exception of salary, there was only one small increase request. That was an additional $220 for HR credentialing for the benefits position. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Board members, anything for Maria? Nope, hearing none. Thank you very much. Mr. Kamala.
Great night.
Have a great night. Good to see you again or hear you again, Maria.
Next is Elaine Lazarus, the Assistant Town Manager.
Thank you. The Department of Land Use Planning and Permitting was created 10 years ago by bringing together separate offices of the Planning Board, Board of Appeals, Conservation Commission, Board of Health, and the Building Department. Including the boards I just mentioned, the staff in the department provides support for 13 boards and committees, more than any other town department. This alone makes it a busy place, but adding in the huge work volume associated with the building department, it's a very busy place where several positions are cross-trained. In 2020, the department issued 2,187 related building permits and certificates. This means that an average of 8.8 building permits or certificates were issued each workday. The permits included 158 new residential dwellings and 977 alterations and additions to residences. Most of the permit applications involve an intake process, a review, a decision, and an inspection. During 2020, construction did not slow down with the pandemic. The department adapted ways to safely perform inspections and work with the public and contractors in a safe manner. For example, many interior inspections were conducted using videos, pictures, and FaceTime. And fortunately, the inspectors had begun using tablets to record inspections before the pandemic, so they were well positioned when administrative staff began working remotely. In addition to the building activity, there were 164 applications to the Conservation Commission, 30 Planning Board decisions, and 14 Board of Appeals decisions filed in 2020. The Planning Board is continuing to work on master plan implementation. The Community Preservation Committee has continued to do its work reviewing and recommending funding applications, and the Open Space Preservation Commission has been active in land stewardship and management. And staff has learned how to organize, host, and participate in many remote board and committee meetings in the last year, which has facilitated the continuing work of those served. The mission of the department, taken from the strategic plan, includes 4 components. Number 1, service. We serve the public. This includes the safety and quality of both the built environment and the natural environment, and consideration of entrepreneurial and innovative approaches. Number 2, collaboration. We strive to work together, collaborate, and cooperate with town employees, the public, and boards and committees to maximize efficiencies and serve the public good. Number 3, education. We strive to learn new things and stay current in our professions and to learn new ways of working together to accomplish goals. Number 4, honesty, integrity, and openness. The public has a right to information, documents, and answers, and the right to participate. The department has 8 full-time and 1 part-time employees. 7 of the full-time employees are paid from the budget appropriation, and 1 full-time and 1 part-time employee are paid solely from building permit fees. In addition, the Director of Municipal Inspections manages per diem wiring and plumbing inspectors. The land use budget is mostly employee salaries, and we're requesting level service funding in FY22. The expense budget proposes continuing with land management activities, funding to assist with the required update to the town's open space and recreation plan, and funding for a trails and pedestrian connectivity plan, an initiative of the planning board. One thing the pandemic has done is brought many more people outside and increased interest in trails. This plan would bring various efforts together into one plan and identify points where connectivity is needed. Thank you, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Elaine. I didn't hear you there. Can you repeat that whole thing? No, that was a great presentation. Board members, anything for Ms. Lazarus?
I would just agree with Elaine about the trails. I use the trails a lot, and the trails are much busier now than they've ever been. I think that's great, but we just need to plan for that going forward. I don't think the enthusiasm is going to go away once the pandemic goes away. I think people have found the gems all over town and really enjoy getting out there. So I agree, we got to be a little bit more aggressive in how we manage and help those trails along.
Thank you. Mr. Kamalo. Yes.
Next is Heather Beckman, the Library Services Director.
Hi, Heather. Let's see, is she on here yet? She's there.
Am I visible?
You are verbal, not visible.
There we go. All right, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to talk with you about the library's activities in FY22 budget. Our mission is to inspire exploration, discovery, and engagement as we enrich and strengthen the social network of our diverse community. The past year has been tumultuous for us, as it has for everybody, and I want to recognize first and foremost my staff for their very hard work to continue serving the community throughout this pandemic. Even though the library building was closed to the public and staff were working partially or entirely from home last spring and summer, we continued to provide services to the greatest extent that we could. Among other things, this included continuing to provide our full range of digital resources and helping people access them. We circulated 37,000 digital items in 2020, which represents a 53% increase over 2019 and one of the highest levels of digital checkouts across the entire 150 library CW Mars consortium. We created a process to issue temporary cards to new patrons online without a library visit, which more than 400 people have used to get a card since last April. We transitioned library programming, including summer reading, to a virtual format. We offered curbside pickup services and filled about 4,300 curbside pickup requests between July and December. We shared key information about COVID and other relevant topics with the community on our website and social media. We implemented a new Chat a Librarian service through our website, which has become a model for other libraries using the same software, enabling us to share best practices with our consortium libraries and statewide. We were very pleased to be able to reopen the building to the public on a limited basis in mid-September and had about 2,800 people visit the building between September and the end of the year. During that time, we continued providing our full range of virtual and curbside services alongside in-building browsing. And we also launched additional programs and services, including book bundles, story walks, and take and make programs. As of last January, we were able to expand our curbside pickup hours to include 2 evenings per week. And as of just yesterday, we have been able to expand our walk-in browsing hours to include more mornings and evenings. Looking forward to next year, We will continue to increase in-building hours and relax restrictions as the pandemic situation improves. We look forward to being able to resume normal services, and we are seeking ways to sustain some of the new services the patrons appreciated during the pandemic. The recommended FY22 budget for the library would maintain service at pre-pandemic levels without enhancements. The overall budget meets the state's minimum appropriation requirement for certification, and it will require the library to find about $54,000 from non-town funding sources to spend on materials to meet the state's materials expenditures requirement for certification. As a reminder, certification is what allows a Hopkinton resident to walk into any other library across the state and get a card and check out materials. It's also what makes the library eligible to receive state aid. Town appropriations fund three major buckets of expenditures: staffing, collections, and office supplies, as well as a few $100s annually for professional development. All other expenses are funded from non-tax sources, and this includes all costs related to library events, our $20,000 annual membership in the CW Mars Consortium, most of our collection spending, additional professional development, and extra technology. The FY22 library budget is a 6% increase over FY21, which translates to an increase of 1.3% when we adjust for the fact that in early 2020, some staff pay rates were adjusted to align with new ranges in the town's pay classification plan. Increases in the FY22 budget are entirely due to increased rates of pay for current staff. They result from bringing staff up to those minimums of new pay ranges, from state minimum wage hikes, and from annual raises. All other budget lines have been kept level or decreased. The budget reflects our current staffing levels, 6 full-time and 10 regularly scheduled part-time positions, which includes our current vacancies. It does not include any new positions. And some of the increases are offset by savings in other areas, which include anticipated savings on new hires, eliminating extra children's room staffing in the summer due to efficiencies created by our new summer reading software, and reducing the office supplies line. That's the overview. Thank you again for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much, Heather. Board members, anything?
I did have a question.
Go ahead, Amy.
Heather had mentioned that some of the funding is outside of the budget, but is required to meet our certification with the state. But do we have that funding lined up somewhere, even if it's not in the budget?
Yes.
Okay.
We have been covering that and approximately that amount for many years from our trust funds, state aid, gifts, the Friends of the Library.
Okay, that's great. It's just people really value being able to go to any library in the network. So.
Oh yes, if our certification were at risk, I would be flashing big alarm bells at you. Okay. It's a big deal.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Mr. Kamalu.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In fact, next is Brendan Tetstone. He will present the town manager's budget.
Great. So I would like to cut that budget by 90%, donate half of the town manager's salary back to the ambulance gift fund. Any other questions from the?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You actually made me sweat there for a minute. I didn't know if I had to present something.
Yeah, as you may know, our vision here is that Hopkinton Town Hall provides the best public services and unparalleled experience as a trusted governance partner to all its residents. I want to also take this opportunity to thank the senior leaders who have prepared very well for their presentation before you tonight. By the end of the day, putting everything together, here's what we get through the town manager's office. Coordinating the overall efficient performance and quality control of the town's day-to-day operations, supporting up to $4 billion worth in town value. We don't normally say this number out publicly, but that's what we're here to support and preserve and enhance when we have opportunities to do so. We do so through attending to organizational health, quality staff appointments, great supervision, conducting reviews, as well as through the HR office, making sure that the employee experience is always positive. We're protecting the town's excellent services and ensuring that said services are performed in accordance with town bylaws, policies, and within the capability of the town's resources and are accessible to all town residents. We focus on keeping the select board and town residents apprised of the town's financial health, developments of significant impact, and future needs of the town. Through Elaine's office, we are continuously assessing and managing risk to protect town assets, infrastructure, and through the finance team, the town's fiscal health. The office is constantly robustly supporting general governance, civic participation, enterprise-wide strategic planning, policy formulation, licensing, intergovernmental activities, board appointments by the chief executive board of the town, the select board. Coordinating key events and outcomes, including the town's budget, town meetings, annual reports, as well as celebrating other key events and milestones in town. Finally, overseeing all contracts, contract negotiations, legal services, and ensuring that our most valued employees have the benefits that they deserve. The underpinnings of our service model are threefold. One, participative collaboration. Two, commitment to securing livelihoods for all town residents. And last but not least, supporting team happiness. And in FY22, our personal services budget is going up 3.4%, and our expenses are going down by 3.8% for a total increase of 2.9%. And I'll take any questions from the board at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Kamalu. Board members.
Mr. Kamalo, do we know what the valuation of the community was 10 years ago?
Yes, we can provide that information. I don't have it here with me. I can forward the answer to the board.
I'd be curious to see how it's grown over the last 10 years, or even 20 years for that matter. I think it's important that we understand we all work hard to keep the town moving in a positive direction. And when we do that, I bet you that number is 50% of what it is right now. And that speaks to what a great community Hopkinton is. But it's nice to put a number behind it. It's a fact. It's not just a feeling. And I think I'd be interested in seeing what that number is. Thank you.
Yeah. In fact, 5 years ago, that number was 3.2%, and I'll soon have a number in terms of where we were 10 years ago.
3.2 billion?
Yes.
Yeah, you said percent. So 3.2 billion. What was that? How many years ago?
That was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And over the last 5 years, that's a 40% increase.
Thank you.
Good. Any other questions? Sounds like none. Thank you very much, Mr. Kamalu. Moving on to liaison reports and board invitees. Board members, do you have any liaison reports? Mr. Nasrullah.
I do not.
Mr. Herr.
I do not.
Ms. Lafreniere.
Yeah, I was asked last night to go to the sustainable, I had a small meeting with some of the sustainable green people, and they have asked me to come to their meeting tomorrow night, which I will do, and report back next time.
Nice. Ms. Ritterbusch.
Let's see, I was just going to mention that there is another active bystander, upstander training coming up. I think it's March 20th in the morning. And it was really nice to see a lot of the town hall staff and board and committee members attend the last one in February. So I'll send that out again to the board in case anyone can join the second one. It was really well done.
Thank you. And I don't have any. So future board agenda items, board members, do you have any future agenda items? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Hearing none. Mr. Nasrullah, if you
Mr.
would.
Chair, I move that we adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
Any further discussion? Sadly, hearing none. Mr. Nasrullah, how would you like to vote on that?
Nasrullah would like to vote yes.
Mr. Herr,
Yes.
Ms. Lafreniere,
Yes.
Ritterbusch,
Ritterbusch, yes.
Redstone, yes. So that puts us out on time. Good job, everybody. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.